Marty Stuart's wife, Connie Smith, shares the honest truth about her husband in the sweetest way. Marty Stuart was born John Marty Stuart on September 30th, 1958, in the small town of Philadelphia, Mississippi. He grew up in a place where music was part of everyday life, like breathing fresh air, gospel songs in church, lively bluegrass picking, and heartfelt old country tunes filled the hills and homes all around him from the time he was tiny. His sweet mom noticed how much little Marty loved music right away and gently pushed him to follow that love. By the time he turned just 12 years old, he had already taught himself to play both the mandolin and the guitar, all on his own. Even as a kid, Marty was super serious about music in a special way. He didn't just want to play the pretty tunes, he really wanted to understand the deep stories behind every song and why those songs touched people's hearts so much. Marty's big music adventure started amazingly early in his life. When he was only 13 years old, he got to join the famous band of Lester Flatt, who was one of the true grandfathers who helped create bluegrass music. Traveling and playing shows with Lester Flatt taught young Marty so many important things about life on the road: the hard work, the strict rules of playing acoustic music the right way, and the big job of keeping old music traditions alive for new people to hear. For several really important growing-up years, Marty soaked up lessons that no school teacher could ever give him. He learned huge respect for the older musicians who came before, a deep love and almost holy feeling for the songs themselves, and the strong idea that country music is like a long family tree passed down, not just a quick fashion that comes and goes. After Lester Flatt sadly passed away, Marty got the chance to join another true giant of music, Johnny Cash. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, he played in Johnny Cash's road band, feeling country music at its most powerful, raw, and brave. Johnny Cash wasn't just Marty's boss. He became like a wise father figure, a real-life teacher, and a spiritual guide who showed him the way. From being close to Johnny Cash every day, Marty learned what true honesty looks like, how to stay yourself no matter what, and why it's so important to stand up for things bigger and more meaningful than just chasing money and hits. Those lessons from Cash stayed deep inside Marty forever, quietly shaping the way he makes choices and the kind of music he wants to create. By the early 1980s, Marty felt ready to step out and become his own man, starting a solo career and slowly building a special sound that was all his. His really big moment came in the late 1980s and early 1990s when he turned into one of the brightest and most well-known stars shining in country music. Wonderful albums like Hillbilly Rock, Tempted, and This One's Going to Hurt You gave the world a bunch of hit songs that everyone loved. Those records proved Marty could take the warm, classic country sounds people grew up with and mix in fresh, exciting energy so it felt brand new again. His music proudly celebrated honky-tonk bars, fast rockabilly rhythms, and timeless country heart, but it never sounded dusty or stuck in the past. Every note felt alive, bursting with happiness and full of brave spirit. Just as big as Marty's wonderful songs was the cool way he looked on stage. With his tall, perfect pompadour hairdo, super shiny and colorful stage outfits, and those famous sparkling rhinestone suits that caught every light, he brought back the flashy, proud style of classic country showmen like Hank Williams, Porter Wagoner, and even his friend Johnny Cash. During a time when lots of new singers were trying to push away from country's old-fashioned roots and look modern, Marty did the opposite. He hugged those old ways tight and made them feel bold, a little rebellious, and really, really cool all over again. In the late 1990s and through the 2000s, when the big popular country radio sound started changing a lot, Marty decided to follow a quieter but much more satisfying path for his heart. He put together his own amazing band called Marty Stuart and his fabulous superlatives. Everyone who loves music praises this band because the players are so talented and everything they do feels completely real and true. Together, They made beautiful, highly loved albums, such as Soul's Chapel, Way Out West, and The Pilgrim. Those records showed everyone that Marty is a very deep and thoughtful person who thinks about big things: faith and believing in God, important pieces of American history, exciting stories from the Old West, and the real everyday emotions that touch ordinary people's lives. On top of singing and making records, Marty has poured tons of his time and love into saving and protecting the history of country music for everyone. He is a huge collector who gathers special treasures, old instruments that were played by legends, beautiful stage clothes, rare photographs, and even pages of handwritten lyrics from the greatest stars. His amazing collection holds priceless things that once belonged to Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, and so many other heroes of the music. Instead of keeping all those wonderful treasures locked away just for himself, Marty has worked super hard to share them with the whole world. The biggest part of that dream came true when he helped create the Congress of Country Music right in his own hometown of Philadelphia, Mississippi. It is a special museum and living cultural center that celebrates and honors country music's beautiful past, its exciting present, and its bright future for years to come. Everyone in the music world has noticed how much Marty has given. He has won several Grammy Awards, received very special Lifetime Achievement honors, and earned the deep respect of being called one of the most admired and trusted people in all of country music. Even so, fancy prizes and trophies have never been what really drives him. His true heart's mission has always been to serve the music itself, to lift up the people who first created it, and to stay close to the fans who find comfort, joy, and meaning in its honest stories. Marty's big heart for helping others shows up in the way he works with people and speaks up for them too. All through his long career, he has used his own spotlight to shine light on both the old traditional artists who don't get enough attention anymore and the fresh, young musicians just starting out. His wonderful television program called The Marty Stuart Show ran for many years and became a favorite with fans because it felt so real and warm. It brought real country, bluegrass, and gospel music straight to people's homes, with big legends and brand new singers performing live together. Very little fancy production, just pure, sincere music from the heart. Marty Stuart's personal life, just like his musical journey, has been shaped by very strong feelings, huge respect for country music's history, and close relationships that connect back to both his young boy days and his wiser grown-up understanding of what love and partnership really mean. His two marriages, first to Cindy Cash and later to Connie Smith, tell important chapters in his life story and show how much he has grown as a man and as an artist over the years. Marty's first marriage was to Cindy Cash, who is the daughter of the legendary Johnny Cash and his first wife, Vivian Liberto. They were married from 1983 until 1988. Being married into the Cash family put Marty right in the center of one of the most famous and loved music families in all of America. At that time, Marty was still a young musician working hard to find his own solid place in the busy music world, even though people already respected him so much for his incredible talent playing guitar, mandolin, and writing songs. Marrying into Johnny Cash's family brought both wonderful special moments and also a lot of heavy pressure. Johnny Cash wasn't just a giant musical hero to Marty, he was also a personal mentor whose opinion and approval meant the world to him. Marty had already spent lots of time touring and playing in Cash's band, so marrying Cindy made his whole life even more closely tied to the powerful Cash family legacy. Even though their marriage carried so much history and meaning, Marty and Cindy faced the same tough challenges that many young couples go through when they are dealing with sudden fame, very busy work schedules, and big dreams for the future. The constant life of traveling on tour, having eyes on them all the time, and some personal struggles Marty was going through back then put real strain on their relationship. Even though the marriage sadly ended in divorce in 1988, Marty has always spoken about Cindy with kindness and respect. He has also continued to feel deep love and admiration for Johnny Cash long after the marriage was over. Instead of seeing that time as a big mistake or failure, Marty looks back on it as an important growing up chapter where he learned hard but valuable lessons about becoming more mature, getting better at self-control, and understanding the real emotional price of living a fast, wild life in the music business. Almost 10 years later, Marty found something much deeper, stronger, and longer lasting when he fell in love with the great country music icon, Connie Smith. They got married on July 8, 1997, and their relationship is seen by so many fans and music lovers as one of the most beautiful, true, and touching love stories in all of country music. What makes their love extra special, and almost like a fairy tale, is that Marty had admired Connie Smith with all his heart since he was just a little boy, long before he ever dreamed he could one day share his life with her. Connie was already a huge, shining star by the middle of the 1960s. Her powerful, soulful voice, the honest way she sang from her heart, and her strong, unforgettable stage presence left a giant, permanent mark on young Marty when he was growing up. Marty loves to tell the sweet story of the very first time he ever saw Connie Smith perform. It has become almost like a magical memory in his life. He was only 12 years old when Connie came to sing at a fair on an Indian reservation not far from his little hometown of Philadelphia, Mississippi. For a young boy living in the quiet countryside of Mississippi, getting to see a real star like Connie Smith perform live, so close and so real, changed something inside him forever. He still remembers how she looked that day, full of timeless beauty and something so captivating that it stayed with him always. In his own warm words, "She hasn't changed a bit. She looked great then, and she looks great now." That sweet comment shows more than just thinking she's pretty. It shows his deep, lifelong respect for her lasting grace, her amazing talent, and the real, honest person she has always been. Many years passed, and both Marty and Connie lived full, busy lives filled with big successes, some disappointments, and lots of personal lessons. Then their paths crossed again, but this time, everything felt different. By then, Marty had become a well-known and respected artist all on his own, and Connie was looked up to as one of the wise, respected elder leaders of country music. Their love story grew slowly and naturally out of huge mutual respect, the same important values, and a shared deep passion for keeping traditional country music alive and strong. Unlike the wilder, bumpier times of Marty's younger years, this marriage has been filled with calm stability, true devotion, and beautiful creative teamwork. Together, Marty Stuart and Connie Smith have become one of the most loved and admired couples that country music fans talk about. They often perform side by side and cheer each other on in every music project they do. Marty has shared many times how Connie brought real balance, peace, and solid ground into his life. She helped him find the strength to stay sober, spend time thinking about spiritual things, and discover a fresh sense of purpose every day. Their marriage is so much more than romance. It's also a shared life mission to protect, celebrate, and pass on the deep roots of country music to new generations. For decades now, fans have looked at Marty Stuart like a living picture of everything classic country music stands for. Always dressed sharp and perfect, completely devoted to remembering the history, and endlessly kind and respectful to every legend who came before him. But his wife, the wonderful country icon Connie Smith, says the shiny stage image is only the beginning of who he really is. In some very rare, warm, and open-hearted moments, Connie has shared special truths about the private man she knows behind all the rhinestones and lights. The things she says aren't about juicy gossip or bad secrets. They are about his strong character, his quiet discipline, and his huge, true devotion. "People think they know Marty because they see him performing under the bright lights," Connie once said with a smile. "But the man I share my home and my life with is deeper, quieter, and thinks so much more than most folks ever realize." She explains that even though Marty lights up and loves being on stage, he is never pushed by big ego or a need for fame. What really moves him is a powerful feeling that he has a job to do, to take care of the music, to honor the brave people who started it all, and to stay true for the fans who trust him to keep country music's old heart beating strong. To Connie, Marty acts more like a gentle caretaker who has been trusted with something very precious for a little while, not like a flashy superstar. Connie often talks about Marty's unstoppable work ethic in a way that sounds both proud and amazed. Marty never stops, she says lovingly. Even when he's worn out, even when nobody is around to see, he's still working hard, still learning new things, still trying to make everything better. She tells how he spends endless hours digging into old recordings, carefully taking care of rare treasures, and reading every story he can find behind the classic songs we all love. To Connie, this isn't something he does to look good. It feels almost like a quiet spiritual calling to him. He really believes this music matters, she says, not just because it's fun to listen to, but because it carries real history inside every note. The sweetest and most touching truth Connie loves to share is about Marty's humble heart. Even after all his big achievements and shiny awards, she says he never forgets where he fits in the long, beautiful line of country artists who came before. Marty knows he didn't invent any of this, Connie says with warmth. He feels thankful every single day just to be allowed to be part of it. She explains that he still sees himself as a lifelong student of country music, always feeling like he owes so much to the great teachers and mentors like Johnny Cash and Lester Flatt, who showed him the way. At home, in their quiet moments, Connie says he hardly ever brings up his own success unless someone else asks about it first. Connie also gently corrects wrong ideas people sometimes have about their marriage. Lots of folks assume that when two big country stars live together, there must be competition or big egos bumping heads. That couldn't be farther from the truth, she says firmly and happily. Marty has always respected my career, my voice, and my faith so much. She shares that Marty is one of her very biggest supporters in the whole world. When I start feeling unsure or doubting myself, she says, he reminds me who I really am. He believes in me even when I struggle to believe in myself, Connie adds with a soft smile. Faith is another quiet, powerful part of Marty's private world that doesn't get talked about much in public. Our faith guides the big decisions we make, Connie explains. Marty leans on it more than most people know. She says their shared belief in God helps keep them steady and calm when the pressures of being famous and traveling all the time try to pull them off track. In hard or unsure moments, Marty turns inside himself to think and pray instead of rushing into reactions. He's not impulsive at all, Connie says proudly. He's prayerful. When Connie opens up and shares these real truths about her husband, she doesn't tear down the picture people have of him. She makes it even brighter and more beautiful. Her loving words paint a picture of a man who is driven by the wish to preserve something precious, not by showing off. He is filled with thankfulness instead of ego. Marty is exactly who he appears to be, Connie concludes with a big, warm heart. And then so much more. Through Connie's kind eyes, fans get a rare, special peek straight into the heart of a man who lives and breathes for country music, but who lives even more deeply for honesty, real love, and having true purpose every day. Connie has also shared how Marty often tells her that she saved his life, not in one big, dramatic moment, but through years of steady, loving companionship. We rescued each other, she says softly. God knew we needed someone who truly understood both the calling and the heavy cost that comes with it. She believes Marty's music got even richer and deeper in his later years, not only because of his great talent, but because he finally found real peace inside his heart. When he found peace, Connie reflects, the music found new depth too. When Connie bravely tells these honest truths, she doesn't make Marty's legend smaller at all. She makes it bigger, richer, and more real. Her words show that Marty Stuart's true greatness comes not just from his fierce love for country music's past, but also from his willingness to keep growing, to face hard struggles, and to love with all his heart even when no one is watching. Marty is still learning, Connie says at the end with a proud, gentle smile. And that's exactly what makes him so real. Behind the big, shining myth stands a real man who has been shaped by deep devotion, honest vulnerability, and an unbreakable love. For the music, for its history, and most of all, for the woman who knows him better than anyone else in the world.